Hello, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a Beyond the Summit presentation of the Starlighter I-League Chinese Division. Here we have the lower bracket playoff match between none other than Newbee.Y and CDEC.Y. This is going to be the second game in this best of three series, with CDEC up 1-0 after defying all odds against a tremendous team fight. So we're going to be seeing this draft take place very shortly, and already I'm feeling pretty confident for CDEC. They seem to be having the right mindset going into this game of just going in no matter what they're up against. They seem to be able to make things happen, and of course they're really smart in terms of their overall progression in terms of how they move across the map, and obviously their item progression. But Newbee, obviously they know how to draft, they know how to build themselves up strong in the team fight sense, and it's just about finding that initiator. If they can get a hero that can actually start the fights on their terms, then maybe things will be a little bit different. Anyways, without further ado, let's hop into it. Once again, I am Blaze, and I'm joined by none other than Hades Dota. How's it going, Hades?
It's all good. It's all good. I mean, that was a really intense game one. It all came down to that one smoke where, yeah, CDEC. I mean, they found it. I don't know how. They just did.
Yeah, Blink Daggers is certainly a great way to make that happen, though. I don't think with the Blinks that's such an easy engagement, so that's pretty huge.
Yeah, and I mean, here we are. I'm really enjoying the draft so far because CDEC, they definitely have very good picks. The Slaughter and the Bane, so you're not so dependent on the Blink Dagger. You always have to sleep into the Crush, which is really, really good here. And this means the Slaughter will have a much bigger impact thanks to the Bane. These two heroes complement each other very well. The Tusk into the Shadow Fiend, I'm a bit skeptical about that, but we're going to see the other picks. I mean, Dazzle's already been the first ban out, so a Newbee.Y, they don't want to have to play against that, or a Huskar.
Yeah. And Syracuse actually did tap into reserve time a little bit to get their first ban out as well, the Doom, in response to the Dazzle ban. So obviously they weren't sure exactly how this early opener would go, but it seems to have worked out pretty decently for them. Of course, they did have to give up the first pick, Shadow Fiend, banning out the Wyvern there, but getting Slaughter Bane out of it is not bad at all. These heroes bring a lot to the table, and I would say the fact that the Slaughter isn't on the team of the Shadow Fiend is a really good thing for CDEC. They're going to have, however, follow this up with a Lich pick. They banned the Undying, pick up the Lich, and obviously they banned the Darkseer as well. They're really trying to make sure that they don't have to worry too much about the 5-on-5, and just really focus on the lanes where Bane and Lich are the strongest.
Yeah, and I feel that actually CDEC, I mean, despite their playstyle, it's very similar to most Chinese teams, but the way they draft, I feel it follows the European region a bit more closely, because that's where the Alchemist didn't come in. And actually, the Lich, it kind of resembles a bit something like one of the Western teams. I can't remember, is it Alliance or OG? I mean, when you have the Lich and the Bane, it actually works really well. And of course, this negative armor from the Shadow Fiend, it's not really going to matter much, especially when you have the Frost armor. So it's not going to be easy to be chipping down heroes. All these heroes are going to be tanky. And if the Ember Spirit coming in, yeah, this is actually really good. Slaughter offlane Ember.
Interesting. So the Ember Spirit doesn't really sync up with the draft as much as everything else I've seen so far. Where do you think the Ember... I mean, obviously he has some good split push potential when he gets his BOTs up. Right now there's limited control in terms of like quick stuns against him. Unless this Tusk has a Blink Dagger, he's probably not going to be pinned down too heavily. But do you see any other strengths in the Ember Spirit here?
I think he's just a good carry who, with, once he gets his farm up, he's going to be really, really scary. And I guess, the Searing Chains, it helps to... You can actually start a fight using those Searing Chains like you mentioned before. So I do like how this Ember Spirit comes in, just because with the BOTs, it's very different. So CDEC, they're going to try and look to split the map, using the Slaughter to create space with the Ember Spirit. So the Slaughter going around, Ember's going to get his farm. Newbee.Y will have to be very, very careful, because right now, they still haven't revealed much on what their game plan is, but they will go for the Wraith King, which is a weird pick. But I think it's decent against the Ember Spirit.
No, it's actually something we've seen from Newbee.Y a couple times, but most importantly, the synergy between the Wraith King and the Ancient Apparition is really there. You're very likely, with the Ice Blast, to get a kill with your first exchange between heroes, and then the Wraith King obviously has the Reincarnate to fall back upon. In the laning phase, also the Wraith Fire Blast goes really well with Cold Feet Ice Vortex, so you're much more likely to find a kill on the Slaughter. Overall, I think that the Wraith King is going to be a pretty strong pick, because he's not as farm dependent as the SF. The SF can focus on stacks, he can focus on flash farming. Wraith King, he can go for fights, go for maybe Midas Blink build, and he's going to be fine to get involved. Again, he has projectile stuns, so Ember Spirit should, for the most part, be able to avoid it unless he gets blinked on like right in melee range. And for that reason, I think Ember Spirit's going to be pretty solid here. Maybe I prefer Anti-Mage a little bit, but overall it's still it's a really solid kind of hero that can't be really stopped. He's going to be able to Flame Guard against the Ice Blast and Magical Nukes, and yeah, he's just going to be able to withstand everything and keep his distance.
Dire team ban.
And at the same time, I think Wave King comes online a bit earlier compared to the Ember Spirit. Beastmaster is a pretty good pick. Wow,
how does it fit in? Like, how do they actually run lanes here? Do they have a mid Beastmaster?
No, I think you still go with the Beastmaster into the off lane. You put the Slaughter and safe lane of Ember Spirit mid.
Okay. Yeah, I guess if you have the Lich sacrificing for you, it's a lot easier to contest that Shadow Fiend. So Ember Lich mid seems possible. And then you can put Bane Slaughter in the off lane, which can be really annoying for the Ancient Apparition. So yeah, safe. That could work. Or the, as you said, the off lane Beastmaster solo is fine too.
Reserve time.
Not really going to be worried about stacking Ancients too much with an Ember Spirit, since he's not going to be able to do anything to them for a long, long time. Whereas with like a Sven, you're going to boar stack every minute. With an Ember Spirit, you're going to pretty much just focus on the fights. Right now they have a lot of great disables. Searing Chains, Multiple Man Crushes, the Nightmare Fiends, and of course the Roar. All of this lockdown, but it's all really just a count of the Shadow Fiend in my mind. All of these heroes could really keep their distance from Shadow Fiend, keep them locked in place, and then hopefully somebody will just put out just enough nukes to finish them off, in spite of maybe like a mechanism.
Oh, the counter to the Beastmaster. This Night Stalker pick's gonna screw it up so much. CDEC, I mean... Alright, so the picks currently... Yeah, they have strong lanes, but if they lose fights, Newbee.Y can actually push high ground quite easily because of the Shadow Fiend. He's always gonna find that farm no matter what. And CDEC, they don't have good high ground defense at all. And neither are they that good at, breaking towers. It's not really like... Unless maybe the Beastmaster, the Necromonicon units, but otherwise that's about it. Newbee.Y, they will have their work cut out trying to fight through this laning phase, and actually it looks like Beastmaster will be the one mid. You called it.
Okay, so it's a little bit different. It's a style that we've seen players like Fata in the West run much more commonly than most others. Beastmaster actually was one of the more common mids in the International 1 back in 2011, just because there were so fewer heroes in the pool. And so one thing when I got into Dota 2 originally, I was just transitioning from Han. I practiced a lot of the Han equivalent. I can't even remember his friggin' name now. It was an ice guy, but anyways, and then I played a bunch of Beastmaster mid, and you get the boar to control the rune. You pretty much double up there where you can either deny a rune or pick one up. You get the ancient stacks going, stuff like that. So just like there was a lot of cool stuff you could do with the hero. And he's one of the beefier melee cores. I mean, you can put this strength hero in against a lot of tough matchups and bring a lot to the table. It looks like I'm having trouble connecting back in, so if there's any action, you let me know.
Alright, so for now, it looks like the Hawk actually scouted out the smoke, the 5-man smoke from Newbee. They were looking for a pickoff, maybe hoping to try and kill the Ember Spirit or something, but he was doing very well. He didn't even go to the jungle at all, and you can see this Observe Ward already being placed. Sentry Ward used to block up the camp. And yeah, it's just going to be a casual rune going the way of Inflame, it seems. Well, SC, he's going to get himself a bounty at the bottom part of the river. Demons and Ame, they're not going to take the risk. They're just going to wait. Even puts a very defensive Observe Ward just to scout things out.
Yeah, so plenty of control, but as far as laning, the Beastmaster obviously pretty bottle dependent. As far as his starting items, did he go like Stout Shield in this matchup, or is it just the Tangas in the bottle?
Yeah, he went for a Stout Shield as well.
Okay.
And yep, IC's already there to sacrificing creeps. So Inflame's going to have the creep equilibrium quite in his favor. Shadow Fiend's probably not going to have a good time here because IC, once he hits level 2, he's going to be spamming that Ice Blast continuously at SC, and he's really zoning him out. He foresees the danger, so he bought himself some Tangos and the double bowers. Oh, Inflame doesn't want to be feeding away the pigs to SC. Bottom lane's going to be interesting though. I mean, it's going to be a Wraith King and Ancient Apparition against the Bane and Ember Spirit. While top lane's going to be June against the Night Stalker.
Oh boy, so we're out of commission for a little while, but I think I'm about to connect back in, and then we'll get into the game finally, guys. Sorry about that. missed the opener, but luckily I think first blood's still on the table.
Yeah, it's still 0-0, so maybe this is just fate. You're gonna wait for Blaze to come back in before first blood comes. That's always the best case scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the players are thinking about casters here, production value. And Le, he's gonna wait in the trees. Looks like it's an aggressive tri-lane. Ame can't really go close because if he gets too close, the chilling touch and the stun, it's enough to kill Ame. And I think they want to go in Le. He has the shards on for the block. Oh, but it's off. Like you said, like I said earlier on, they're just waiting for Blaze to come back in before we get first blood.
Awesome, they have done it. Let's go, first blood, spill it. But no, I'm good. Reset my config, and we are good to go here. Not lagging, not nothing. Hopefully we have a good game on our hands. Only a minute 45, not the worst time to get back into it. A lot of the stuff that we saw in the past 2 minutes is pretty much what you would expect from all these heroes. I mean, Lich sacrificing things, denying experience, denying souls from Shadow Fiend, who has actually only racked up 3 stacks of Necromastery. Only 3 souls through 2 last hits and 1 deny. Really just going to be suppressed and getting a very late bottle.
This is just horrible lanes for Newbee. I mean, on the bright side, they did shut down the Ember Spirit quite hard. Oh, they're going here for the shards in the cold feet. Do they get the Wave Fire Blast? Yes, but he's on the wrong side of the shards. Need the damage. They will find him, and actually Wave King will get first blood. Demon's very low. The Chilling Touch doing a lot of damage here. He's low. He can actually get a return kill. Oh, no! Oh, he actually gets it. Puts himself to sleep. He might deny himself.
Tuss stayed a little bit too long under tower there. Brain Sap actually going to be trading the hits, and it's going to be 2! They lose the Ember Spirit, but they get 2 in return, and though Ame can't close the distance to bring down MRR, oh wait, I almost tried. He does have 15 MS in advantage, but you would literally be trying to hit the maximum rank searing chains right outside tower radius to try to kill him. So instead, yeah, it's Demons who just too damn tanky. You don't want to fight a Bane like that. I mean, the Tusk just straight up mispositioned in the fact that he went too far under tower for too long. But trying to just focus down the Bane in that position when he has 4 armor, he has the Brain Sap, it was close, but no cigar. The Iron Branches went out, and it becomes 2 for 1 in favor of CDEC.
Just the mind game is being played here as well. You think you're so close, but yet so far. And this aggressive tri-lane has really failed because of giving away all those precious kills. And Ember Spirit, I do believe he got quite a bit of a Cisco, and he's now level 3. This lane has a bit of hope. Yeah, more hope for him. And now Tusk has actually rotated to mid, trying to buy the SF a bit of space, or trying to make his lane a bit easier. Because as CCC, he's just so far behind. He's 8-1 compared to Inflame, who's 19-10. He has a very huge lead over the SF.
Alrighty, so Wraith Fire Blast will be coming on an Ember Spirit, no Slight to dodge it, so he's going to be taking some heavy hits here, but there wasn't a Cold Feet or Vortex, so he is going to be just poked back, and with the Clarity coming out immediately for the Wraith King, it seems like they just want to keep using spells to pressure Ame.
Well, he has a magic stick, I suppose, so he should be fine usually. And any overextensions, this is where the Lich and the Bane can TP in. Although I see, oh wait, yeah, well, that's with TP. I thought he didn't have a TP. And the Frost Armor and Inflame, there's no way they're ganking the mid. The mid is just very, very secure.
Alrighty, so, I mean, right now, it's still like the Ember Spirit's not getting that much farm, 6-0. He's actually doing worse than Shadow Fiend is on mid. But we're still going to see some big damage coming to SCC, and with the Ice Shard, getting the space, but still the axes as well as the auto attacks will finish off the SF. Nice play from Lei, but it's just insufficient. Now you're going to go on Ame down bottom. Going to be a Nightmare onto the Ancient Apparition. Still the Cold Feet does trigger. And he's going to have to try to get some space. He's actually going to go for the Searing Chain. Magic Stick doesn't come out in time, though. And that means he is going down along with the Wraith King. But they do make it a 2 for 1 as Lich TP's down. If only he had gotten the Magic Stick off just before that Wraith Fire Blast, he would have actually survived too. But no, it is going to be the 2 for 1. And they leave the mid to a 1v1 once again.
Chilling Touch damage just 2 OP, it's really strong in the beginning. And Ember Spirit is not tanky at all. I mean, it's very low base armor, but yeah, like you mentioned, stick charges. If he had popped it, he probably would have survived and even gotten like a comeback kill. Now, I mean, in Flame, I mean, a solo 1v1 matchup, I think he's actually going to win the Shadow Fiend now because he's level 5 and he has the level 3 board. It's not like Shadow Fiend can do it unless he raises away the pick. Top lane, actually, we haven't talked about this yet. June, he's actually losing to the Night Stalker because now it's nighttime. He's 28-10 compared to the Slaughter, who's in 20-6.
This comes down to the HP regen on the Night Stalker. Night Stalker right now has 4 natural regen thanks to the Mango, and the hero getting that buff in 6.84. So what it means is that Sarter, whenever he comes to the lane, he's going to be poked at, and just Night Stalker wins out. Poor Man's Shield, was that Poor Man's Shield versus Poor Man's Shield? Yeah, they both have a Poor Man's Shield, just to trade melee hits more effectively. Nightmare off the mark on MRR, but yeah, so every time they come to the lane, they're brawling it out. The Night Stalker moves to force him off the lane, voiding, doing anything he can to poke him back. But now he's on the hunt. Now, like you said, it's nighttime, so halfway through the night, that's the time the Night Stalker really wants to get involved, but can't find demons, unfortunately, and will just be scouted out now by a Radiant Observer.
Are you afraid of the dark? Because right now it looks like Inflame, he is afraid. He's just going to back off. This Illusion Rune is trying to find him. He's going to scout to get a bit of information, and yeah. So this lane's very pushed in. Inflame is actually moved away. Whereas he's already back at the base, healing up. And Ame, he's going to be very, very happy with this. He finally gets a bit of alone time at the bottom lane. All this aggression is finally gone. So it means he can come back now. He's 17 and 6, he's not that far behind.
It's because of the kill exchanges. If the score wasn't 5-2, you'd better believe Wraith King is still going to be down bottom with the Ancient Apparition, but because they've already lost out so many on these trades, it's just going to get worse for them. We do see June in some real trouble here. His silence, but the Nightmare will delay the Void, and it gives June the distance he needs. So he'll throw an amp, pat him on the back. They'll have vision of Night Stalker for a little bit here, and they're actually moving with two big ultimates, Icy's Chain Frost as well as Inflame's Roar. I think the Beastmaster should lead here, though. He does drop the ward, gets some intel, but they're going to break the smoke here, and they've got to get this Roar out. No, too much distance. Inflame can't find his mark. Clears out some creeps, but they don't get their kill opportunity. Chain Frost and Roar obviously is two great tools for pivoting a fight around, because you're just able to lock one person in place, and anybody that comes to help him is going to be in range to bounce the Frost.
Demons wants that level 6 so that he can synergize with Beastmaster Roar. He's just going to put SC to sleep, and the TPs are coming in actually. Oh, looks like main favorite of his life. Oh, actually nice tag team work coming out here. Wow! Roar's coming out the amp as well, and the crush. Oh, actually first hit bash, no crush needed. Okay. So Bane gets himself a nice kind of Tuskar, but he's considerably ahead of the Tusk, he's had no last hits at all. His net worth is so low, and he doesn't even have boots.
Yeah, it's a really hard knock life for him. I mean, he is level 2, like, he's been just trying to help out as best he can. Obviously, he kind of fed down bottom, and then his next rotation was just to help out the SF, who was having so many issues. But despite really nice juggling, in the end, there's no way to actually get distance with that Nightmare play. You're always going to be still kind of locked in too long, and those TPs take their effect. I actually love Inflame's movement. As soon as he gets the Invis Rune, he starts moving in to the enemy jungle. The Hawk scouts it, and he's here. But a Sentry Ward will see him, and they definitely know about him now.
They might want to bait him here. And actually, wait, he has backup. Inflame's going to say hi. Snowball's going down, and then Kofi's going to come in. And here comes the Chain Frost. Unfortunately, it bounces to the hard camp. And MR is just sleeping or waiting at the side. There's such a waste of a Chain Frost. And now here comes the Ray Fire Blast from the side. June's going to come with Diadia. He still has mana for the Reincarnation, and he's just going to decide, hey, creeps are more important. So here he goes.
Yeah, that was a bad Chain Frost. He definitely should have Chain Frost the SF with the Ancient Apparition Nightmare right next to him. Much higher probability that he gets the bounces to a hero rather than over to the entire swatch of neutral creeps. There is actually like it's extremely likely that it just bounces to the camp. We're actually going to just see a face roar here on SCC. Without any more spells, it doesn't look like it's enough. The boar slow is quite significant, though. Demons, unable to do enough there. And SCC drops the Requiem before going down. He will fall, but at what cost? We see Bane and Lich both going down as the Requiem and a half breaks through.
Dire's bottom tower.
Ami might die here. He has a Remnant back.
Yeah, just barely gets it before the crippling takes effect.
June, 1,000 more go to his Blink Dagger.
Oh, Midas already up for Jiajia. So that economy factor I was talking about, where the SF wants to farm the stacks, the creeps, the waves. It's going to be a Wraith King that gets more value mostly just through his Midas. Obviously getting himself a faster level 16 and just overall reliable gold progression.
Bottom lane, they do find a Night Stalker. He does get the Complete Silence on Demons, but the Searing Chains and the Flame Guards is level 4, so he might find something here, but Demon has the Fiend Flip. He's going to use it. Yep, he's going to use it in love. Very nicely done. And, Ice Blast actually connects on 2. Ami might die here. Actually, maybe not. It's going to expire. He's going to be fine.
Nah, he's very healthy here. The Flame Guard level 4 is just plenty to withstand all the damage they throw out against him. And the Fog of War really hurt them there. They couldn't find their target in the tree line. So they just end up losing. I'm assuming that, yeah, the Tusk definitely died there. He's just level 3 is such a fast respawn that you blink and he's back. But still, that's just more gold going, and it might be another kill. Nightmare connects, and they will just chain him up for another kill. It's going to be TP in from the Shadow Fiend. Maybe not the place you want to TP into. Cancels it as the Tusk dies for the 5th time this game. It's an 11.5-minute game, and this guy has died 5 times.
Unfortunate game to be a Tusk, and I think it's just the way the draft works. Newbee definitely outdrafted in terms of the supports, because you can't get a Tusk out to trade hits. It's not the way the hero works compared to a Bane.
He's all about momentum, and right now he has none of it. He ended up being one of the first kills in the game, and SCC pulls in on hard. TPs mean nothing. They will just die to the crushes if they keep going. Chain Frost bounces around onto Jia, the Reincarnate. Gonna be forced out, and Night Stalker gonna be going down too. Oh, this is a disaster. This might be one of the fastest games in Starladder I-League if it keeps on going at this pace. They are just absolutely destroying CDEC. It's 14-4.
That was actually the best case scenario for a Chain Frost. The creeps were so low already. So he killed all the creeps and got the full Chain Frost to bounce off. That was just amazing, and just from that, he's probably going to get his Necro 2 very soon on Inflame. And he gets the rune at the same time, so they can keep on pushing if they want.
Yeah, I just feel like CDEC Youth obviously drafted very convincingly for their lanes, and Newbee.Y kind of ignored that. Like, the Bane, the Lich are lane winners, and Newbee.Y don't have a single hero like that. The Night Stalker wasn't too bad. Hell, the Night Stalker, or sorry, the Wraith King normally, under normal circumstances, will do fine in his lane, but here they couldn't get enough done, and we have now a 4-1-7 KDA on Lich. I mean, usually you say, oh well, Chain Frost is a long cooldown at level 1. You really can only get a couple good fights in the early game for a Lich. This guy's been contributing substantially to every single engagement. It's very impressive.
Just one of those really good games. I mean, he has an Urn, a Magic Wand, and 1,400 gold. Actually, here's the smoke. Newbee, are they going to find a flame? I think they will. He's trying to run up. Oh, with the Invis rune!
Owned. Oh, that Invis just walks away. No detection, just pops him before the Red Fire Blast hits, and now it blinks on June, so SCC gets isolated. Icy just throws one spell out, and down will the Shadow Fiend go as Demons drops the Brain Sap on him. June just up low, but now we have these Searing Chains onto 2, and Inflame can just roar a single target as they go in forward. It's going to be a silence onto Ame. He's going to be taking some major damage, but Nightmare defensively to reset it. As a snowball goes through on Inflame, a really nice snowball from Lei, but all they can do is run and let their Night Stalker die. In fact, MRR almost dead to a boar alone. The Chain Frost onto Lei, just for good measure. It's a triple kill for the Bane, and the Ice Blast might not even be enough to kill Inflame. No, he is very healthy here. Needs to drop down to 113 health, and he's got 100 to spare. So that's going to be him earned up, bottling up, and going for the tier 2 in mid. There's nothing that can stop them at this point in the game.
Jia needs time to come online, and joining them in this fight, forcing these fights is just not a good idea at all. And just from this right now, CDEC, they will just take Roshan with the amplified damage and the Necro unit plus the boards. It should be pretty easy. And Ame, with no farm now with the BOTs, he's 62 and 8. His net worth, he's actually climbing to the top very, very slowly. He's just a bit behind the Beastmaster. And Jia wants to go in.
Nice Ice Blast coming into the pit here. June's going to be actually dodging that one out just narrowly, but still dying because of Sprint. Taking a lot of damage here. It's a big kill to take. If they could snatch this Roshan, Ame will isolate Night Stalker though, and now during the night he's not able to take advantage of it. Ame goes for the TP back to Remnant back in. They'll lose the Rosh, they'll lose the Aegis, but they might take the fight in the end. The Roar comes out on Lei. Where's that Ember? There he is, dropping all his spells. And actually Jia somehow up on a cliff thanks to the Roar from the Beastmaster. So they broke the Aegis. Tusk, the one who doesn't have any gold, is buying back to try to salvage this situation, but they'll just walk away. Wraith King carrying out a TP, and they leave it at that. They don't get Roshan, so Newbee, at least I have to. This is a complicated way to explain it, but I call it a win just because they didn't automatically lose Rosh. They at least put up a fight, even though net worth wise, it's only slightly in their favor. At least they get Roshan. At least they get the Aegis, even if it's used immediately.
It was one of those fights where they just had to, because otherwise they couldn't defend, they couldn't prolong the game. So that going for the rush was very risky, but it was the right thing to do. And actually, Tuskar's net worth is very, very sad. I actually really pity him this game. He's 927. But on the bright side, you know, he has boots.
He has his boots. He spent 390 gold on buyback, and that was far more than he had most of this game. But you know, this is what he's been relegated to, and he's just gonna have to deal. Meanwhile, Midas is up for the Wraith King. Nobody else though. I was expecting. Well, there's the jump, there's the kill. Jia, Wraith King doesn't have mana for reincarnate. Could stick to get close to it, but it's still not going to be enough by 10 mana. Oh, no, it's not going to be. Chain Frost, SCC, Lei losing a lot of life. The Nightmare actually helps SCC out here. He gets the Requiem and starts to throw some damage out, but the raises won't be enough, and obviously he'll be finished off with the Necro and Ame. So, mega kill streak for the Ember Spirit. Crush coming in up top here, but I don't think they'll get the chains, and they will let them walk away. So in the end, just going to be that 2-0. I feel like it could have been cleaner, but still, obviously CDEC doing a lot of work here. They're still tier 1 up top. Like, they're all the way destroying them next to their base, and yet there's still a tier 1 tower in the same lane.
CDEC, this is where the lineup really peaks the most. So they're just snowballing as hard as they can, and I think they should, because otherwise if they drag this to the late, it's going to be very troublesome. But Jia, just really unfortunate. Really great, you know, usage of the Necro Books to burn all his mana. He was so desperate for the mana, he stayed on Intel Treads and popped all the one charges. And now Armin, like I said, you know, that BOTs where he splits the map, this is it. He doesn't even need to worry about space enough for farm, because Jia, at the cost of reducing the Ember's farm, which he did, now he himself is just so far behind. He's finally making his way towards a Blade Mail, but...
And that's a dead Shadow Fiend if I've ever seen one. Blink Crush, easy peasy. Frost Blast. He does actually get some reinforcements. Mechanism as well. They don't actually fully commit.
Snowball!
Oh, Lei does. Lei fully commits. Lei gets roared. Lei gets killed. And the BOTs from Ame, now they're ready to try to kill off anybody else. But the Hunter of the Night moves swiftly, and he'll swiftly skedaddle back to base. Okay, that was probably a bad D-ward though. 3 seconds for the Blink Crush, but he'll be okay.
Talk about being really ballsy.
And now it's a Necro 3. Like, the Magic Stick only gives you 150 mana back, so you have to Magic Stick on Strength Treads, then switch to Int, and then you have enough mana for Reincarnate if you're already out of mana. But with Necro 3, like, every hit's gonna burn you so hard, and I actually don't think that you can really rely on your ultimate anymore as Wraith King.
This Beastmaster pick Inflamed is really on fire. Oh god, I mean, once he gets a Blink Dagger, I don't see how you run away from fights, because they can... CDEC, they are looking for a fight every single time, and Newbee are just like, okay fight, we'll find you back, but they're just losing all these exchanges, and Jia, I don't see how he comes back from this, because fighting from behind is not what the Wraith King does best.
Not necessarily. I mean, obviously, Blade Mail, he can accomplish some things if he's just finding good positioning, but speaking of positioning, we have the worst possible Night Stalker getting caught out by the Roshan. Lei not able to do too much to the Lich. They have a mechanism on this Lich, so yeah, this is not a fight they want to take. They will go for the Ice Blast here along with the Requiem. Mechanism means nothing when they're blasted up, but the Chain Frost will still keep bouncing. That's a lot of damage coming in post-mortem from the Lich. Speaking of mortem, we got the Wraith King reincarnating, trying to kill off June. They will succeed in that, but now both are chained up. Ame is cleaning up the Wraith King and now looking for one more. Inflamed gets the double, but can they get the AA? It looks like he's gotten himself just a little too far away. So that leaves the map wide open for CDEC as they take a 4-for-3. That's surprisingly because of comeback gold still favors Newbee. They're actually able to get Ancient Apparition a nice 1100 gold, which he'll put towards a 4-staff.
Things are just so hard for Newbee right now. I mean, okay, yeah, I mean, we just saw with the reincarnation, they can still sort of put up a fight, but 3-4 trade, still not ideal.
It's all about that Ice Blast, though. If you don't get a good Ice Blast, then the mechanism makes it so that you don't get hardly any kills in that exchange. But Icy didn't mech before the blast. It was pretty close range, and the AA does suppress that just enough that they do get some good kills.
Things just got way harder as well since Army just completed his Battle Fury. He just needs the Quelling Blade.
Oh boy, this is getting rough quickly. Glimmer Cave's probably going to be coming out next for the Lich, the Bane. With those items, it's going to be harder for the Shadow Fiend to stay relevant. He's been dropping some good Requiems. He's been making sure he tries to get souls maxed out between every fight, but with so many deaths, it's hard to keep up.
Yeah, and I mean, you can see how passive, how defensive this Shadow Fiend has had to itemize with just a mech and still nowhere close to a BKB. Whew, I don't even know where he's going to find the farm because he's on the dire side, and the T2, all these outer tower T2 towers are just disappearing. These Hawks finding plenty of vision, getting dewarded slowly. I mean, it's weird because the Night Stalker, usually you expect the Night Stalker's team like being on the dire side, you know, to control the map, but in this case, all his map control is just being taken away, so it doesn't really matter anymore.
Yeah, he's also not using darkness during the nighttime. It seems like he only uses that to either preface the night or during the daytime, when you definitely can use it once, most nights. So isn't taking advantage of that, and the Hawks are doing their work. Tier 2 gone in mid, bottom probably next.
Top tower is under attack.
And now they'll get one more tower. Roshan looks like it's gonna be up in the next 2 minutes or 3.
Blink Dagger on the Beastmaster if he can find his target. The Wraith King seems like an easy one, but they expect too much behind him. They don't want to get baited into a big Ice Blast.
Make it TP in anytime he wants. I think he has a remnant nearby. Yep, at the secret shop. So Newbee can't really take this fight. If anything, they should just let go of this T2, you know, push for other resources somewhere else, like from the jungle, seeing as the whole of CDEC is at the bottom lane. That's the best thing you can do, and that's exactly what they will do.
Yeah, and disciplined movement from CDEC. They obviously have had a couple of opportunities to jump with the Slider or the Beastmaster Blink, but they know that they don't have to take risky engagements when they don't know what's behind their opponents. They can just pretty much play this thing out. They already have a huge advantage. There's no reason to get too risky and throw it away. But with the Wraith King this far forward, they still might go for the 4-staff Nightmare or just a simple Nightmare ready to punish this Wraith King, crushing him. They won't burn his mana out in time, but Snowball is actually going to push him far forward. June, just run away with the sprint. No, it was on a creep. Ice Blast now coming out heavily, and CDEC actually in a little bit of danger here. There is a very far away Requiem that's not going to be channeled up in full, but June looking for that Blink Crush. Just wants 2 mana at the very least. Wants to control the Shadow Fiend, but has to control the Tuz. They burn all his mana so quickly, and he's already down. Now it's going to be the Ember Spirit getting to play around a little bit.
Doesn't Fiend's Grip.
Oh yeah, that's what we're looking for, and it just burns enough mana. The Necro and the Fiends both burning the mana of the Wraith King, and he will not be getting his ulti out here. June just getting the perfect crush on the Night Stalker. They're going to burst him down outside the base. Requiem or not, SCC cannot do enough to turn this around. In Flame actually gets cold feeded. Almost enough, but just insufficient. The Ice Blast comes through, and there's the Chain Frost as well. They're diving deep. Jaja's here with the buyback, trying to get at least one more rebuttal kill, but he gets roared up. Icy, will he survive the tower hit? He does, but he's going to have to run past the next tower and get hit by the Snowball Punch. It is going to be Tusk to claim the life of the Lich. That's going to be a 642 gold bounty for him. So, all said and done, a buyback on the Wraith King. 3 others dead, just for 2 heroes, and yet a couple of these guys are profiting. The Wraith King and the Tusk both coming up positive, just still holding. As we see Bracer Gaming come out from Lei. That's the true desperation mode. You just buy as many bracers as possible just to live through a fight.
Game is just hard. I mean, he's so far behind all the supports, even the off lane. I mean, you see the Night Stalker, he had a solo lane, but you compare him to the Slaughter, the Slaughter's had a much bigger impact. Now, he finally gets to farm a bit between the medium camp and the hard camp. Man, I don't even know how Newbee can come back at this point, unless maybe the Wraith King gets like that Radiance. But yeah, his mana pool is giving him pretty big issues too. I mean, we just saw the Fiend script, the Necro units. He doesn't even have a second life anymore. It should be considered a non-factor soon.
Until he gets to BKB.
Oh yeah, that's true. But he's still very far away from that. I mean, he can get the Mytho Hammer soon, but he still needs like at least a good 2 minutes to complete the BKB if he gets free farm in the jungle.
Yeah. So the Fiend's Grip is percent-based mana drain, and it does pierce through BKB. So you are going to be looking at about, if the full channel comes out, a 50% reduction in Wraith King's current mana pool. And that obviously means that they just have to prevent a max Fiend's Grip coming out. They have to find a way to interrupt that, because otherwise Wraith King, even with a BKB, might not be able to come back a second time.
Shadow Fiend has I realize he's had a very quiet game. It's not like he can do anything, and he's really underfarmed for a Shadow Fiend. But that's because, you know, CDEC, they've been controlling the map really well. Ice Blast is going to come in, it's going to scout Roshan, but can they do anything about it? That's the question. Unlikely. Night Stalker going for Vlad's, hoping to keep the team alive.
And Ahmed just doing his thing with the Remnant, obviously back. They're going to actually snowball in the pit here. They get the Ice Shard Vision, but LA is all by himself, hanging out with Roshan and 4 enemy heroes. Yep, Radiant get the Roshan, Slaughter gets the Aegis, and that's about it. I don't know. They really wanted to try to go for a cool play, just some big play to change their sorry state of affairs, but it's just not happening. Right now it's 33 to 11. Drastic net worth favorability for CDEC here as they approach 20k.
And Ame on a Crystal already. I don't see Newbee coming back from this, because once they break the high ground, especially if it's Aegis, it's pretty much GG. They're just too far behind, and the gold graph is approaching 20,000 for advantage of CDEC.
I mean, there's always the comeback, but at the same time, this is a really rough position, and it could just be an enfeeble for now. I mean, the Wraith King doesn't hit that hard, so taking away any bonus damage is going to be very frustrating for him. But they're just poking, they're not committing anything right now. Just bringing Wraith King really, really low, trying to get that first Reincarnate out for free. But Ame, because he gets the crit, yes he does! Or just slices and dices enough to, even without the crit, get the kill. And they'll just wait it out. Now the Ice Blast is gone, they can just mech after this and go right to the high ground. There's no Ice Blast! Oh, MRR! He showed his hand too early, and now there's no way they can repel CDEC. SCC is going to get roared if he tries to Requiem in a good position. And this is just an opening, but only for 10 seconds. One more creep wave, and they've already cleared out all the creeps. It actually is okay. I really thought they were just going to take the tier 3 with that Ice Blast being used, but they're actually going to have to wait for their next mech to feel fully confident.
And even then, you know, it's only a level 1 Ice Blast, it's not level 2 yet. He's not going to get that level 2 even after this creep wave is done. Well, hits an Aegis is fine. Oh my god, again, he's going to screw it up again!
Oh, this is brutal. Oh man. The Ice Blast not going to connect at all, and this is a great opportunity for CDEC just to walk in, pop the Necros, and commit fully to this next creep wave.
This is basically the ancient apparition, say, hey, raise the creeps, and maybe in 30 seconds I can try again.
No, he's going to get crushed here. Going to go in on SCC, hardcore. There's going to be a stun on June, but again, he has that Aegis. Nice little snowball to help out the Shadow Fiend. The Night Stalker's going to eat the Chain Frost, bouncing around to the creep wave this time, but SCC gripped and killed off. Wraith King still plenty of mana to work with, but no Reincarnate for 70 seconds. Crush ×2 onto the Night Stalker, killing him off, and that, with the Tusk Death, might just be it. We're going to see him snowball a last hurrah. Almost kills the Lich, but no siree. He's going to be okay, and they're going to take the tier 3. Glyphing it will only delay it. The Ice Blast won't even do enough by itself. It's got to be the Wraith King on top that goes in for the final play. Blinking in, trying to kill off one hero here, but no. Their bottom lane of Rax is gone, and they will have to draw the line at the middle lane.
Yeah, this is GG. Unless, you know, CDEC pull off like the biggest 3-2-2 of their life, this is not happening anytime soon.
Well, staggered disengage is one way to make that happen, but it looks like they're going to be okay.
I mean, Ame could actually... CDEC would have to lose like at least 3 more team fights just for Newbee to be back in this game.
Bane has a Blink Dagger. Ember has a Daedalus. Hell, even the Lich has a Hood of Defiance. Once he gets Pipe, like, there's no way you get damage.
All the supports in CDEC are just so rich that both of them are twice the net worth of the supports on Newbee's side.
Oh, man. This is rough. I mean, obviously the Tusk is the one that has been hurting the most this game. He actually got himself back pretty heavily with like 1 kill and a couple assists earlier, but it still is dwarfed by what the Radiant are bringing, what CDEC have. Now, 8,400 net worth brings the Lich to a pipe, and at that point, you nullify everything. There's just no damage coming out from anybody on Newbee.
Your Shadow Fiend's Requiem of Souls pretty much just tickle the whole of CDEC right now. The Ice Blast as well, it's still level 1, has no impact.
And on top of that, you've got Enfeeble to reduce the physical damage they're putting out. So with Mech, Pipe, and all that together, They can go in with or without Aegis, but June just jumps in with.
GG fight.
Yeah, this very well might be. Wraith King going to be ignored for the now. Pops the Blade Mail, gets roared up. Still actually losing a lot of mana. Might lose his life. The Chain Frost bounces back and kills him off. He's going to have to buy back here. SCC pop the BKB. Not going to be enough to survive. Lei will be killed off in the backline. Do a great crit from Ame. No, he walks away just barely. And now it's going to be Wraith King going in hard on Ame. Can they bring him down? No. He'll jump around. He'll disengage and he'll be fine. Oh man, it's going to be Shadow Fiend coming back in, not getting crushed by Junis. A nice Wraithfire Blast onto the Slardar as he has to fall back as well, but Ame's back in. He's got a DD rune still, and he is looking for some blood to spill. We do see Wraith King cut out here a little bit. He's caught inside the Nightmare, and this is obviously a dieback for him if he does go down. Big crush from June, 3-man, doing a lot of damage, but Ame's out of gas. He's going to try to TP away, actually gets hit by the Wraithfire Blast, and now going to be having to Force Staff away, blinking home as he slides on the high ground. They can't finish him off. Actually going to be a crush onto Wraith King, who can't come back. The Lord of the Undead is down, and that is the GG as Newbee have been absolutely stomped on in this game. 41-12. CDEC
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
are just able to obliterate them. That is, I mean, the first game was insanely close. Very high strategic plays from both sides. But this one really just came down to momentum. The laning phase was so strong for CDEC and they were able to barrel down a 2-0 victory here in the lower bracket semifinal.
Inflame and Lich, that mid lane pretty much won them the whole game. CDEC's, Inflame, I mean, the way he just went on the Wraith King every single time, he had such low impact. The Night Stalker as well really had nothing. I think maybe another hero like a Clockwork or something would have been better. Just any other hero but the Night Stalker, because I didn't even realize he was in the game at all. I mean, you can see negative 1.4 in the fantasy points. He's 0 and 9. And the Tuskar as well, like you mentioned, you need momentum, but he's 1 in 13. Shadow Fiend had a very quiet game, couldn't find any kills. CDEC's 5-man was just way stronger. So there we are, that's the end of that.
Yep, and that's going to be bringing us to the grand final here, guys. We had Wings Gaming take out their opponents earlier. They are going to be going into the best of 3 against CDEC Youth, who have just won this lower bracket semi. And the winner of that best of 3 will be going to Minsk, the LAN event for Starladder I-League, not China, for the whole thing, the whole kit and caboodle. That's going to be fun to see, but we are going to be going into a brief break here. It looks like we got about 35 minutes, if I'm correct, or are we actually ahead of schedule? Let's see, we started about 5.5 hours ago, so we do have, if we're going on the schedule, about half an hour's wait, and then we're going to be jumping into that final best of 3 to decide the whole thing. We've been testing a lot of Chinese games here for Starladder I-League, and we're going to be seeing it all come to a conclusion here. LGD, EHOME, they've already punched their tickets, but one more to be claimed in just a few minutes' time. A great game from CDEC Youth. We'll see if they bring just as good of a game against the Wings Gaming, because I'm sure those guys have been researching, they've been preparing, and they're ready to rock and roll. Thanks once again for tuning in, guys. We'll see you in about 35 minutes' time for the deciding final lower bracket match between CDEC Youth and the Wings Gaming. Once again, thanks for tuning in. I myself am Blaze. You can follow me on Twitter at BlazeCasting and my wonderful co-caster at HadesDota. See you guys in a little bit.